Kim, I want to ask you, I want you to just go very quiet for one moment. And I want you to tell me from the minute you met me, just one word, what was your chronic condition when you met me, your state of being?
In one word, I would say manic. Not without knowing it. There was a high and a low.
Right. Okay.
And so the highs were real high and the low was real low.
Right. And what was in between, you never felt because it was like an elevator going up and down or an escalator. Well, escalators are too slow. So it was an elevator.
Right. And what was interesting is when I feel so passionate and excited and, it was always connected to something outside. And so when I didn't feel that connection or I felt the absence of that connection, I'd feel really low. And I would judge myself against that feeling. And so it became this vicious cycle that was constantly up and passionate and down and depressed.
Mm-hmm. So in working with you in our process, one of the tools that I'd like to share with everyone, and you can tell me if it was very beneficial, was that we started to become aware of what we thought or did the second before we had a shift, one way or the other, up, down. So you got very accustomed to being the observer in your life.
Yeah.
You also were given a time to take breaks, to go into when you felt it coming, we called them the bathroom break. Because a lot of times you were in a meeting and no one can fault you for running to the bathroom. If you go several times, they're going to think, she's got a bladder problem or something else.
I don't have a bladder problem.
But they may have thought that. But in the meantime, you got control of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what did you see that was happening in your mind when you start, even now? What's the difference in your state of mind? How your mind works?
It's interesting. It's kind of like set on one dial, like one point as opposed to one point, then the other point, and then the other point, and then when the brain was stuck on that point, it would cause all these emotions. Now,
we call that a mind loop. And a mind loop creates an emotional response. And we are then in the emotion, believing that's who we are.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something to the mix, which is that we are born human, and emotions tell us a lot about what we perceive in our world. It becomes an actual Geiger counter of our value system.
Yeah, I would go with that, yeah.
And one of the things in a value system is we don't know where our values originated. So we have these very strong beliefs that as time goes on and we do this work, we ask. When I am so adamant about something, I have to stop and say, whose idea was that? Where did I get this concept, this feeling, this idea? And if we do a little run on it, we run that idea to the first memory that we have, we will find out 98% of the time that wasn't who we were. So as we strip this away and we become habitual in asking the questions, who gave me that idea? Where did that come from? How do I know it's true? And as time goes on, there's only two measurements. One, you feel lighter when it's your truth, and you feel dragged down when it isn't. And it's just an instant reaction. Or not only about your truth, if in life you're deciding to make a decision, something important or something insignificant that seems insignificant, something small. You can use that as a testing ground. Ah, that feels right. We go with what feels right.